Just bought your shiny new Sony a7 IV and you can't wait to go outside to shoot beautiful photos and videos with this hybrid beast of a camera. Wow, it's a really nice sunny day outside, perfect for a shooting, isn't it? But you are a professional, aren't you? So you shoot everything in manual, like a pro with the 180-degree rule that you just discovered on YouTube. You take your fast prime lens, open all at f1.8 to have the shallow depth of field, set your frame rate to 30p and double the shutter speed at 1/60. Perfect. And this is what you get. A super overexposed widescreen, not cinematic at all. Well, I think you might need a variable ND filter. The problem is that when there is a bright day, to keep the above mentioned rule and to preserve the cinematic feeling with motion blur, you can do only one thing: use an ND filter to artificially reduce the light coming in the camera, like when you put sunglasses to see better in bright light. Yes, of course you could crank up the shutter speed, but you will lose the motion blur and that cinematic vibe. Also, you could crank up the aperture, but you will lose on the other end the depth of field, and in my opinion it's the last thing you want to do, especially if you want to look professional. This is the reason why I bought this, which is the Freewell 6-to-9 stop variable ND filter. So I'm not gonna go over all the explanation of variable ND filter, which stands for neutral density filter. There are better videos on YouTube and I'll link them in the description. You just need to know that they are filters that go over your primary lens, being like the sunglasses for your eyes, but for your camera. They are variable as opposed to fixed, because with only one filter, just by rotating it, you can become darker or lighter according to the number of stops that you can reduce or increase. This one is from 6 to 9 stops of light. The stops are all that line that you see on your exposimeter on the camera, just to make it simple. This way, in a sunny day, you can use the 180-degree rule to keep the aperture really open, let's say f1.8, the shutter double up of the frame rate, and then just adjust the filter. Just want to mention that this video isn't sponsored from Freewell and I bought this filter with my own money. And also there is a 2 to 5 stop version, which is for darker days with less light. When you put it on your camera, it will give a deep purple vibe to the lens, really dark. And yes, the bonus feature is that it protects your glass as well, so you scratch a $100 filter and not a $1,000 lens. And I really like the build quality of this filter. Freewell made an amazing job using an high quality metal to make it sturdy and really resistant. The range is fixed, meaning that the filter will stop rotating when it reaches the end, and other low budget filters don't do that and suffer of black X on the frame, which is really unfortunate. This is the 82mm version because my Samyang 24-70 f2.8 has a really big diameter of the lens, and I always suggest to get the bigger one and then use step down rings that are really cheap and they don't affect video quality. As you can see, there are numbers that tell you which stop you are using from 6 to 9. To cover the filter there is a magnetic top, which is really nice, so you can just mount it without touching the filter, but I have mixed feeling about that. I like that it's magnetic, so it's easy to mount it, but on the other hand, I'm not totally convinced of how sturdy and steady it is with time, and if it will fall apart in the camera bag with a lot of shakes. From my 1 month experience, it works fine, but however, if you have multiple lenses, it might be better to use each cover. But enough talking, let's see some real world tests with some videos. As we said, the best way to compensate bright light day is to increase shutter speed, but if you do it too much, even more than double the frame rate, the picture will be over sharp and really robotic. You know what I mean. Look at this water, it's definitely not cinematic. This is the general problem of drones and action cam that are super robotic and over sharpened if you don't use any filters. First, I tested some flags. I will let you pick which one is which. Write the correct one in the comments. You can definitely see the difference. The overall image has better contrast and the colors are more vibrant. There is a little shift toward the green yellowish on the video recorded with the filter on. Then I took some general sea pictures, and here the sea is far away, but you can definitely see that the motion is different. Also the colors are different. On the beach they are far better with the filter. Without the filter both the beach and the dock are white, while with the filter the beach is golden like it is in reality. Then I tested some logging, and as you can see how I had to lower the aperture, losing that bokeh effect. While with the filter I had the perfect shallow depth of field. Then I tried cranking up the shutter speed instead of the aperture without the filter, and the image looks very clunky. Last I compared this nice view under the bridge, and again you can see the water being very metallic in the movement, being the overall image very bright, while with the filter it was more cinematic. But it's not all gold what shines. Filter in general can suffer some problem, of course. The first is vignetting, where the corner of the frame get darker. It might lose a little bit of brightness in the corners, but I tested it with a 24mm and it works really well. As far as I know, if you go below 24, for example with a 16mm, it will create some vignetting. But I have seen other filters that give you much more problem than this. On the other hand, as you saw from the footage, there is a little bit of a color shift, because the picture goes toward the green-yellow cast. As far as I know, all the filter create a little bit of a color cast. You know it's there, nothing that you can't fix in post-production in my opinion. Also, your sunglasses will create color cast as well, so it's totally normal. You are putting another layer in front of your glass. The price for this filter is $100, and I think it's fair value considering that low-end model arrive to $70 and don't have the hard stops, and they will suffer especially of vignetting. And considering that the Moment and the Peter McKinnon cost much more, I really think it's a great value. Personally, I don't like the design because it's really dark, and I prefer the Moment one, which is red and very reflective. So this wraps up for today. Let me know what you guys think about this product. Do you have one? Do you have multiple? Do you want to buy one? If you have any question, please leave a comment. Be sure to like this video and subscribe, and as always, stay tuned on Shades of Tech. Ciao!